Testing. All right, amigo, I'm going to read through this website. And it's going to be awkward because I'm not going to read. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, and I'm not going to read the specific identity of this organization. So, anyways, it begins with the title of the organization, motivation, communication, language, and some pictures. I think that looks great. Then about, again, great. It immediately jumps to the credentials of the pathologist. So, and then it goes to mission statement. So, in my opinion, it should go a couple of sentences and something similar to Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel, okay? So in other words, what is about? Well, what is it? It's a pathology center located in this area with one physician on staff. And then to the mission statement, which I think should be next, or maybe the doctor prefers credentials next. So because of the clumsiness of formal titles, especially when you're talking about medical people, I think there's an opportunity if she's coming. She is a state that is notoriously known for being casual. I guess we have a lot of states that way, but certainly this is one of them. You can have this idea, like for instance, if I were Dr. Tom Duty, DDS, I could be Dr. Tom Duty, DDS, is commonly referred to as Tom by his patients. He is also comfortable with Dr. Duty. And then, in other words, that gives you an excuse to refer to me as Tom through the rest of the text, because there's an opportunity to reinforce who you're talking about. Websites are especially bad at confusing the reader. One paragraph it's the organization, the next paragraph it's a person, and so being able to say the person's name again without saying the more formal name is an advantage. So, and again, I would be Tom, Dr. Tom Duty, DDS, is comfortable being called Tom by his patients, though most of them call him Dr. Duty. You know, that would have to be customized for this particular pathologist. And then Tom is a graduate of, in my case, the Ohio State University College of Agriculture, blah, 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 just as this physician has. And then the licensees would follow. So I could write that for you. We could talk about it later. The mission statement obviously has been tweaked by this pathologist, so you know there's nothing else that needs to be done. The list of services we provide, you know, I just think she's got to think about the audience she's talking about. She's got an all-inclusive list here, and it should really be shortened. So let me give you this this reaction. When you go into an electronics store, you might be able to buy something that plays recorded music, like a CD player. You're going into electronics. In this country, it's Best Buy. You can also buy a few CDs that might be like not necessarily current revolving inventory, but just a few. So if you buy a DVD player, you can also buy a DVD, even if it doesn't happen to be one you want. Now, right next door, there might be a music store where you can buy DVDs. These are a thing of the past. We don't really have music stores anymore, but we used to. So you could buy a DVD. Well, you also might be able to buy a CD player. So in one place, you sell electronics. It's an electronics store, and you can buy a couple of CDs. And the next door, next to it, you can buy, it's a music store. You buy CDs, of course. You can also buy a couple of CD players. So my point is, one is clearly an electronics store, the other is clearly a music store. Just because they have products that cross doesn't mean that they should be listed. Because the fact that the electronics store has a couple of DVDs isn't going to bring people into the store. We also have a common habit in retail, amigo, of things at the register. You know, these little like keychains, and right now we have the Super Bowl coming up, so you might have something from the Green Bay Packers, and oh yeah, I'm going to buy a Packers keychain. It's never the kind of thing that brings people to the store. It's never the kind of thing that they fill up their cart and take to the register. But when they're paying and their hands are free, all of a sudden, boom, they end up buying one of those things. So I really think the doctor's got to look at this list again and look at this list again and decide, what is it that brings people in and gets them to give us their name? And then what is the peripheral or the add-ons? You know, additional services with a link going to the other stuff. But what are the primary things that people ask for? And Niaz, I don't know this person's business, but this list should be 5, not 30. And they're also alphabetical. It's just, and then in addition to that, it goes from a gray background to a blue background, but there is no break in the context. So that dividing line between blue and gray could be moved. But again, I think if there's a critical look at what is it that brings people to the site and gets them to give us their name and maybe schedule an appointment, give us the opportunity if they have additional specialties, give us the Q&A opportunity to answer that, that's great. So what are those few services? And I have no ability to determine that on my own because I don't really know what any of this stuff is. Here's a swallowing disorder. That sounds like something that would bring someone in. But some of these are such advanced jargon that people probably don't know they have it. So they're not asking for it. They're not making appointments to talk about it. They just know they have problems. What are those problems? It's up to a professional to diagnose. I just think this list is on page 1 and it should be linked with additional services. Or our training, and Niaz, again, my reaction, people in the medical industry are overjoyed with their credentials and the acronyms, but it doesn't mean anything to the rest of us. So DDS, I go to one that fixed my tooth yesterday, and I don't know what DDS stands for. And I don't care to know. And they have a bunch of those things here. You probably can't wrestle this away from your client, but it's still my reaction. Our training, you know, some generic thing like our training is appropriate for professionals in this field. Annually, we participate among our fellow to advance our understanding and our client care and make sure we stay at the leading edge of this industry. To me, that's a statement about training. This stuff belongs in a resume. And again, to the audience of a fellow professionals, not to the audience of prospective clients. Then this next title, then it breaks from blue to black, and it says, let's start a new project together. And that's where it begins these, Nia, somewhere else you called them, oh, I know where you did that. If I click on the menu, I think you call them care affiliations. So I think let's start a new project together should be the word affiliations. And these are great. These could be on a jump page, affiliations with a link, and you go somewhere else. One of them is ca.gov. Maybe there should be text underneath to say what ca.gov is. And then one of them is a white tree on a blue background. Well, maybe you click on that. No, you don't. Yes, you do. Oh, okay, Niaz, I didn't realize those things are links. So maybe you could put that. link. I don't know, but